Hello, Bill Molyneux here for Bill's Wargame World. And, I had some good feedback on my last video where I was working on the Vikings, the 3D printed and the regular ones that needed to be sealed. So now, at the end of this video, I'll actually have a still picture of this. Polycritic, there's the UPC. Alright, we're going to paint these figures. Those of you that may feel this is going to be a boring video, that is fine. We have bad snow in Maryland, and we may not have a Chucklehead game on Saturday either. So, I'm going to paint some figures, set up this camera, and we'll just chit-chat about wargaming. And then you can leave comments if we and go from there. And we're going to get these Marx Vikings sealed with a polycoat. And I love to hear the comments from everybody with all the different ideas. People use mop and glow, acrylic floor stuff, and all kinds of things. So, alright, let me get everything set up. Alright, well, let's this was $24 at Lowe's for those in America. I presume Lowe's is all across the country and not just this is supposed to be a matte, a clear matte finish, and I did already stirred it and all, but let's double check it. Alright. Well, let's move our camera up a little bit and over. So, okay. Let's get painting a little bit. And you can't see what I'm painting because I don't have the camera set up right. Sorry about that, everyone. Let me get that fixed. Alright, who's laughing at me out there? I know Jack Brendel probably in Arizona is. Now this is supposed to dry clear. So that's our first figure, and as you see I have some residue on it. I gotta get that off, and I'll put him right over there. Alright, now I gotta be careful with my camera that I don't get polyurethane on it. So I'm looking where I need to be for you guys and gals. I do know I have a couple people watch, females out there in the wargaming world, and there's more and more female wargamers in our hobby. The fantasy and sci-fi has really been expanding the hobby. Of course, I'm pretty much historical and 54, but Shelby Thompson from Lake George area and her husband, they are great war gamers, and she the Emperor's Armchair YouTube site, they ran the Fort William Henry game at Historicon last year, and they're a great couple, and they ran several games, and I ran games with them, and vice versa. So the hobby is expanding, that's for sure. Alright. There. So we got our polyurethane stuff, and this doesn't smell, if you're wondering. No. Now, am I going to make you watch me paint all of these. Well, you know what you could do? You could fast forward to the end. You could go to another channel. Right now, how many of you out there are playing Raven Feast by Little Wars TV? I'm just sort of curious. It's quite a popular system, along with Mark Fostasso's Wild West system of that we played several times with the Chuckleheads. Oh gosh, I just forgot the name of the Wild West system that we've been playing, where you use the cards and all, and it's going to come to me later. Oh, there we go. So our weather in Maryland isn't the best. Now, I just thought for 15-20 minutes. Now, if we don't have a game, I'm going to be working on the 54mm Civil War soldiers for my regimental Osprey, the new hot lead rule set by Arthur Van der Ver. Sorry about the name. You know, I can't paint and speak at the same time. But we'll, he's got a new set of Civil War rules, and everyone is raving about them. So what I've done is I got 4x4-inch wooden tiles that I got in, and we're going to put 4 figures per tile, 4 tiles per a regiment, and it should work out pretty good as far as ranges and movement. Well, what I'm doing with that is I'm taking all the numbers and multiplying it by 50% increases. So, for instance, his range for weapons for a rifled musket is 24 at his scale. So I'd go to 36 with 54mm. And so by increasing both the movement and the weapons range, that's how I'll get that 54mm version. And he doesn't have a 54mm section in his book, but I'll probably type one up in the next week or so and post it on the No Stress Miniature Wargaming site, the Maryland one. And so now there was a time I would dunk these, but I found sometimes when I dunk them, they would get too much on them and it wouldn't dry very good. So I've stopped dunking a bit. These Vikings are probably as old or older than I am. They're from the Marx play sets. And I'm trying to make sure I don't have too much residue on here. Yeah, I don't want it where I have globs either. Right now they look like they're drying pretty good. And I can't say enough of how well Jim Shaw of Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, and his granddaughter paint. They really are fantastic painters in 54 and other scales. And I'm very fortunate that they will paint for me, and they're just a great grandfather and granddaughter battle team. The painting of figures is an issue for me due to some eyesight stuff. And I can do some, but after a while I get bad headaches and double vision because I have to concentrate more than a regular painter person. And that's one of the reasons I'm always telling everyone, get checked out for macular degeneration, because there are vitamins and some other medicines that they can give you, and unfortunately really weird sunglasses. But it's if you get it caught soon enough, it's not as bad as if you let it go. So enough of talking about macular degeneration. Some of the YouTube channels I've been watching is the British Redcoat. His channel's very good, and he talks about the British infantry. I'm going to say all the way up to the current time period. He does a lot on the Napoleonics and the Anglo-Zulu War in India, but he actually drives and flies to the historic sites. So that's very cool. Now, I'm not checking the time on this video, so I presume it's not going to be a stunner video with a lot of views. It's just a jabber thing. But these 3D printed figures that Josh made for me, I mean, really, really nice. I can't ask. Josh did such a good job on them, and then Jim Shaw and went and did the painting on them. So, and now I'm doing the reason I'm not spray painting these is I don't see any clear weather for a long time in Maryland, at least a week. And I have used this system many times in the past, and it's quite important to seal your plastic figures. All this work went into these, and the last thing you want to do is have this paint get chipped off and ruined, and you're back to a figure. In fact, I've had some people that say they don't even bother painting their 54 plastics because of the paint coming off. So that's an issue too. And trying to make sure I get all this excess off the best I can. It dries pretty good. It's not like I'm going to have globs for the most part. But these different poses that the Marx people came up with, he's got sort of a short sword and then a mace in the other hand. And the detail. Let me show you this detail for a moment. So he's got a short sword in his hand. There we go. But he also has the scabbard for it. So even though these were made in the 60s, the sculptor did a really nice job for this time period to make sure, they're darn good. And I'm sure the sculptors for these figures have long since passed away. Now, the Marx Toy Company was quite the company until the oil crisis really hit, and plastics became quite expensive with the cost of oil. So, one of the reasons the toy industry had some issues with manufacturing things, and that's why like G.I. Joes went from 12-inch tall figures down to 5.5 or 4, and well, There. So we're coming along. Now what I think we'll do is I'm going to turn off the camera and I'm going to finish painting these, and then I'm going to come back to you and show you how they look. Alright, so I'll see you in an hour or two. Alright, everybody. Hey, welcome back. You know, we have the Vikings now polyurethaned. Now, as you see, there's globs that are drying. This right hand side I just finished, but so I'm going to show you the first figure here. Now they're still wet, of course, but they dry really nice. Now this polyurethane, it does not smell very bad. It's water based, and at the end of this video I'm going to have a still shot for 5 seconds or so for both the front and back of the can. Now I'm going to work on, and a little bit later, I got some paperwork yet to finish for work. I'm going to work on the regimental bases for the new Osprey Wargame system for Civil War wargaming that I'm converting to 54. So right now my figures are mounted on poker chips. Most all of my figures are. The 4x4 tiles, they'll work perfect for putting 4 poker chip figures on a tile and 4 tiles. So I'm going to show you how I'm doing with that later, either today, tonight, tomorrow, if I'm snowed in. Okay, so this was a jibber jabber video again. By the way, in the background is one of my Viking ships. Alright, stay safe, be kind, be courteous, and the last I knew, Goober is outside hunting down the elusive snow beast. Thank you, everyone. Stay safe. Well, here we have the Minwax polyurethane stuff from Lowe's, about $24 a can. All right, I find it works pretty darn good. And here's the UPC number. It's a method choose if you're looking for it. All right, so I guess that's about it. Hopefully, oh my gosh, it's Goober the Traveling Bear hunting down the snow beast. It's dreaded creature in Maryland. The snow beast is everywhere. Laugh. Life is short. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, everyone.